Hello people of the internet, I'm Nico and today I'm showing you what tools you need, how to change your oil, and what to do with your oil and oil filter after you're done changing everything. Now, the first and most important thing of changing your own oil is figuring out what oil you're even supposed to use. Some cars may use 0W20 or 5W40 or whatever random letter and number combination you may think of. Now, you can find out what oil you're supposed to use either through a quick Google search, through the owner's manual, which you can find in your car, or if you go to your closest advanced auto parts store or O'Reilly's or wherever you go, they can find out through their own system what oil you're supposed to use. Now, the most reliable source for the correct oil information will be your owner's manual. Just get it out of your glove box, look up in the table of contents what page it's on, go to that page, and then you can find exactly what sort of oil you're supposed to use as specified by the manufacturer. In my case, it's SAE 0W-30 or SAE 5W-30. In my case, I got 5W-40, which may sound wrong, but according to Advanced Auto Parts, that is also a oil that you can use, and so that is what I have. Now, the first two items you'll need, obviously, are your motor oil, which as I mentioned before is 5W40, and the oil filter, which you can buy also at your regular old Advanced Auto Parts store. The oil filter came out to be $5.99, and the oil itself was $26.99, so a total of $33.58 after tax, which compared to the Walmart service center that I was going to get my oil changed at is about $20 cheaper. So you also get to learn how to do your oil, and you save yourself 20 bucks in the process. Next up, obviously, are the tools you'll need in order to remove the bolts as well as the oil filter from your car. Now, you can use just a standard wrench, but I have one of these little special boy wrenches that go on and on and on, as well as the corresponding sockets that I need in order to take off the bolts. Now, you can find this kind of stuff at your local Home Depot, Lowe's, even Walmart actually sells tools in order to change your oil. The next two things you'll need to change your oil are an oil pan in order to catch the oil when it comes out, because obviously you don't want that leaking all over the driveway, leaving a massive stain and hurting the environment. And also something to add the oil in more easily, an oil funnel. And also one more thing, this will come in very handy when coming to take off the oil filter itself. Sometimes they're screwed on a little bit too tight, and there's no exact tool except for this to actually grip onto the oil filter and take it off. There's no bolt on it. You just have to use this little attachment. It has the proper hole that you can put onto a regular old socket wrench thing, and then you can undo the oil filter and all as well. And the last tool you'll need in order to actually get your car up high enough that you can reach the bolts are ramps, or you could use a car jack, but I prefer to use the ramps. You can get these for about 50 bucks even at Walmart, or again, Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever you decide to go. Now, the first step is obviously to put the ramps in the right spot. You don't exactly want to be driving off on one side and have your wheel up on the other. Now, just place them right in front of the wheels. Don't bother with keeping them far away. Slide them right up. Keep them as straight as you can so that you can drive on knowing that you'll be perfectly safe. Now you're ready to drive your car up onto the ramps. Just be careful to not go too fast while driving up, otherwise you may go off the wrong side of the ramp. Now that we have the car up in the air, I want to quickly take a look at everything that we need to look at. And here, first thing is the oil filter. That orange thing right at the bottom, that is the oil filter. We will change that in a sec. And if we go underneath the car, we will see a bunch of stuff. But this right here, that bolt is what we need to remove in order to drain the oil. Now that we have found where the oil bolt plug is, slide the oil catcher underneath it, take your wrench, in my case a size 19, and break the bolt loose by turning counterclockwise. You should be able to loosen it with your hand after that. Just be careful to not lose the bolt and the washer in the oil catcher when the bolt is fully loosened. Wait for the oil to drain. It may help to open the oil filler cap on the top of the engine. Don't worry about getting every drop out because that simply won't happen. After the oil is drained, put the bolt back in and hand tighten it as much as you can, then tighten it a little further with your wrench, but not a lot. It should be snug but not tight. Now you can move to removing the oil filter. For me, it was easiest to reach it from above, but it may be different for you. If you cannot remove it by hand, use the oil filter grabbing tool that I showed earlier, attach it to a socket wrench, and break the oil filter loose. loosen the rest of the weight and remove by hand. Be aware that there may still be some oil in the oil filter when you go to remove it. Now you can grab the new oil filter, pull off the seal covering it, and screw it in by hand until it is snug. Don't worry about tightening it further with the filter-specific tool I showed earlier. Once you have made sure that the oil filter and oil plug are both secure, you can now refill your engine with oil. Grab your funnel, put it in the oil filler opening, and pour away. Be sure to check your dipstick occasionally so that you don't under or overfill your engine with oil. Now, the last things you need to do is to get rid of your oil and your oil filter. Now, the oil filter, you kind of have to just empty it as best you can and dispose of it in your garbage can. And the oil, thankfully, is not something that you have to dump into a creek or your local lake and poison all the fish. Advanced Auto Parts, O'Reilly's, whatever, your local auto parts store most likely will end up taking the oil, as long as it's not in some plastic bag or something. Do have some kind of container where you actually keep it and bring it to them. They will dispose of it properly, as it should be.